Hello everyone, today we're playing Mimighoul and this is my deck list. Although it's a pure list, I think it's very fun and exciting to play with. Maybe the Fiendsmith list would be slightly better, but I just have more fun with this. So let's explain how everything works here. First of all, let's start with the Mimighoul ratios. We have 2 Master and 2 Throne, essentially giving you access to the Master from the deck, so you don't need to have this in your opening hand by all means. Next up, we have the Dragon, which is a playset and it's a searcher for spells or traps, which is very nice. We also have playset of Archfiend, which allows you to normal or special summon it and flip something on your opponent's side of the field, which can be very useful to trigger the effects of either another Archfiend or just any other flip monster, and that's great. We also have 1 copy of Armor, which isn't necessary, but it's basically an extender. We also have the playset of Fairy, which is another extender. However, this is gonna be easily summonable. All you have to do is just control a Mimighoul monster. And then we have another extender in the face of Slime. However, that is gonna be a little more difficult to summon because you need your opponent to control more monsters. So basically, if you have Slime plus any other Mimighoul, you can use it by space summoning the other Mimighoul to the opponent's side of the field, of course. It also has a pretty cool effect allowing you to space summon a Mimighoul monster from the deck, which is very nice and useful as well. And the one monster I'm not playing is Cerberus because I don't consider it to be that great of a card. Now for the spells and traps, we do have the playset of Maker, and this is essentially the way you start your plays. First of all, you get to reveal 2 flip monsters, summon one to the opponent's field and get the other one in the hand. Then you can also special summon a Mimighoul monster from the hand, and on top of that, if your opponent space summons a monster, you can banish this card, then flip one of their monsters face up, which is going to be very helpful to trigger some of your flip monsters as well. We also have 2 copies of Fork, which allows you to either draw 2 cards or flip a monster face up, which is great. However, your opponent does need to choose for you, which is a little annoying. And also you can banish it to get another copy of it. That is why we only play 2 of it. We also have the playset of Dungeon, which is an incredibly nasty field spell with not only a searcher but also a floodgate effect, where if your opponent controls a face down monster, they cannot normal summon, which can be very troublesome, of course. And finally, we have 2 copies of Room. You could play a third one, but I played 2 copies Giant and essentially search it twice, and that's that. If you draw it, it's also nice because you can prioritize searching something else, I guess. The card essentially allows you to space summon a Mimighoul monster to your opponent's side of the field, which is very good, and then you can basically flip it face up with something like Master and get the value out of it, which is great. And the one spell card I'm not playing is Charm because it's not necessary and the effect isn't as incredible as some of the other ones. You're never gonna prioritize searching it. However, if you wanna have fun, I guess you can play it as well. And now for the non-engine, I have some pretty cool stuff. For example, 1-for-1 is an additional extender. Magmamut is a hand shop that can also search Dragon. We also have the Wear Out of Though, which is a nice searcher you need. It's not necessary, but I do like playing it because it's good. And I also play the 1 Beryl Canary, which I use paired with the Recital Starling, which is not necessary. However, it does help you go into the Utopic Draco future if you have the bodies to utilize it. And then I have some non-engine in the face of Maxi, Ash, Coldby, and Imperm, and that's really all of it. You can play also the Fiendsmith engine, which can be pretty good, or a Snake Eye engine because they're a bunch of level 1s and they have good synergy with the deck. But I just wanted to play pure version because I find it really fun. And I also play in the extra deck 2 copies Giant, 2 copies Throne, as I said, with the 1 Riddles, Recital Starling, and the 1 Ensemble Robin, which is essentially gonna be an additional interruption. It's an additional interruption, but it's not gonna appear in the standard combo. You do need a couple extra bodies for it. We also have the 1 Utopic Future and Draco Future with the 1 Downward and the Zeus, which is a nice combo that comes up very rarely, but it's still good to have. And for the final 5 cards, we just have generically good monsters because we have space. For example, Typhon, Linkuriboh, Anima, DIP, and SP. And if you want to play Fiendsmith, just cut these 5 and play the Fiendsmith monsters. It's as simple as that, to be honest. But yeah, that's the list that I decided to play. I think it's a pretty cool and consistent list. Now let's get into the gameplay and have some fun. I can figure something out with this hand. We have Dungeon, which is a searcher. We have also the additional extender with Fairy. Now, hopefully we don't get negated on the search, otherwise it would be very bad. So we're gonna get Dragon. That is gonna be a nice search. We're gonna space summon it, normal summon it, pardon me. That will give us a spell or a trap. Now, usually you go for Dungeon, but in that case, Maker is obviously gonna be a better option there. So we're gonna be space summoning now the Fairy, because it's a good extender. And now I am gonna go for the Xyz one, just to grab the Master, of course. After which I'm gonna activate the Maker and see how it goes. The point of Maker is to basically get an additional extender. That would be the number 1 task. Let's summon Maker. This animation is just, by the way, it's such a cool animation. I just love it. It's so cartoony, interesting. It's a really cool animation. So yeah, I'm gonna go Archfiend because usually I want to get extender. The problem is, even if I get the slime, I can still get the slime with Maker and that would still be enough. So let's go Maker first of all, and I'm gonna go for slime as the first target, and I'm gonna go for Archfiend as the second one. The idea is whatever whatever we said to the opponent, it's gonna give me more value in the end. So that's kind of the main task here. Getting Archfiend is the slightly worse option, by the way, though. I'm gonna now normal summon, however, the Archfiend, which is still gonna be nice, because this way we're gonna be able to now flip this face up, and that will also trigger the Archfiend on the opponent's side of the field, which will give us +1 and -1 for the opponent. The problem is, I would have preferred to go Slime because that would be an additional extender, but it's not like we needed that badly, so I'm cool with that, you know. The question is, what are they gonna discard? Way where there's a wall. What the hell is that? I've never seen this card in my life, by the way. So now we're gonna go with the Giant, basically using these two, and this is usually gonna be the final play, of course. So we're just gonna go and search the room. We already have the room, by the way, so maybe it would be nice to actually search something else. I am actually gonna do something a little different. I'm gonna go for Fork here because I can utilize it as well. I'm gonna special summon Slime to the opponent's side of the field. That will essentially give me the ability to activate Fork, and now the opponent has to decide whether or not they wanna flip it face up and give me special summons, or allow me to basically draw 2 cards, which is Pot of Greed. Either way, that's gonna be great for me, so that's why I did it. Pot of Greed it is, which is actually slightly worse for me now because I didn't draw anything exceptional. Yeah, it's still cool, I guess. And now we're gonna draw an additional Fork, which is fine. And finally, let's special summon Dragon, although I do think they're probably gonna flip it face up in the start of their turn. I still think it's a good idea to just special summon it and just have it there. And now I'm gonna go with the set Room, set Imperm, set a maybe second copy of Room, although I really don't care about it too much, and that's really all of it. I would have preferred to get like an Ash Blossom as a hand trap, not just a second room. It is what it is, you know. Let's activate Maxi here because it's gonna be in the draw phase pretty good to activate. Basically playing around Talon, that's literally all. And now also Dungeon makes our opponent unable to normal summon, and the moment they flip their Dragon face up, I'm still gonna activate my room to summon something face down with the idea to prevent them from essentially normal summoning. Or on the flip side, I could also wait to basically utilize it later, so that's also an option. Activating Droplet, that will prevent me from using my Master and maybe Throne as well, which is a little bit annoying, I'm gonna tell you that much. But they're gonna go -2 if they want to stop both of the effects, so I think this is also fine, right? So they're gonna pitch the Dragon and also pitching a spell card, which is fine. I am gonna be able to activate the Mimighoul room still, so I'm gonna wait because I know that they ended up searching, I think it was a normal summon play. They went for Gen, so they do want to normal summon this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna activate Room, and that usually isn't necessary, but I'm gonna do it without flipping the monster face up, so they don't basically have a way to normal summon. That's kind of the floodgatey effect of Dungeon, and I wanna utilize that. This is actually pretty powerful. Trust now is gonna be very annoying. Oh, Heavy Storm, that is so problematic. Oh my god. Heavy Storm will go -4. Oh my god. Oh, I hate this. I should have kept the other room. I was thinking about it maybe because it will get popped, but this is so sad. Okay, we cannot use these because they're negated. Now they're gonna basically draw some cards, which is, I mean, not the end of the world essentially. But we could also change the effect of Maker, and I'm gonna change it to flip face up the Archfiend, which will make them go -1, and because of the Ken effect, they're gonna go -2. So technically, they're not gonna have enough cards, right? Which is very funny. So yeah, now they're gonna go -1, and they're gonna go another -1, so that's very cool. It's still gonna cut it. Egyptian Gods, okay, that is Spice. He just cooked. Okay. That was a beautiful game, by the way. Definitely a fun one. Again, of course, with the terrible hand, we're gonna normal summon Slime, and we're gonna pray to God that Where-Arf-Do actually resolves. Otherwise, we literally have no turn. So yeah, very cool. We're gonna search now the Fairy because it's the only extender that we can special summon this way, and that will let us basically go for the Throne Link Xyz 1, which is not that bad. All in all, this is the best we can do with the current scenario. And chaining Maxi, I am gonna cold buy it, even though it's a slightly risky choice because if they do have Ash and they Ash our Throne, it's also gonna be bad, but I just can't allow them to draw multiple cards. The cool thing is we do have room in our opening hand, which is pretty good. This means we don't necessarily need the Giant, we just need the Throne. They do seem to have another interruption, which I already hate. Let's use the Throne now and just hope. I mean, that's literally all we can do. Yeah, effect viewer. Okay, sure. All we have is an Imperm, which is gonna be a negate, and we have room that can space summon Dragon or a board wipe or a hand rip with Archfiend. Space summon the Druid Swarm by banishing effect viewer. That is fine. I mean, it doesn't really matter. Battle phase to force my Throne maybe, but that really doesn't do anything. I don't know why they did that. What the hell? Diddy Crow, is that gonna go into maybe a IP or something like that? No, that's gonna be Moon. Well, okay, I mean, I'm gonna use the room now. So I'm gonna summon Dragon basically with the room. Come on, Jesus Christ. Oh man, yeah, give me more, please. Just give me more. Like Maxi, Effect Viewer, and they have a Didicrow, sure, that's fine. Incredible, lovely. All right, the final interruption, just an Imperm on the Lacrima, and that's it. If I see Engraver activated in the hand right now, I am gonna scoop this game. I'm literally gonna press the surrender button. All right, finally, nothing else. Okay, lovely, sure. Yeah, now we top deck, of course, we top deck a useless card that we don't need. We're just gonna pass turn, I guess. We're gonna wait.
12 seconds later.
Basically, we're gonna ash the Lacrima so they don't go into the Engraver. Well, it doesn't really matter whether I ash it or not in that case. Well, I mean, listen, whatever, I guess. It doesn't matter. One Ash Blossom is not gonna cut it. Well, that was it. Man, we tried. Sometimes we just lose those. Alright, so after playing with this deck for a while, I have a couple of things to say. First of all, even though it's really fun, and this would be probably the most consistent version playing with Ardo and also the Maker and all that, I still think that sometimes you just have nothing you can do, and that's a little bit of an issue. I guess you can play a third copy of Master, but that really isn't that necessary, because the main idea is to go for 2 level 1s and summon Dethrone, so that's really all you're trying to do. But sometimes you get to play through like a couple of interruptions, other times you just lose to 1 interruption. I guess if you play Fiendsmith, you can technically have an additional avenue with Moon in case you do have 2 bodies, and that would be cool, but of course it is unnecessary. Maybe the Fiendsmith list would be better, but I just like to play a pure Age version because I think it's more fun. And yeah,